everyone. How are you?
Great.
Hey, good. Very good. I know it's lunchtime. Please feel free to keep eating. Enjoy. Relax a little bit. This is certainly your hour to do so. So feel free. Chips bags, that's okay, no problem. Tear into them and enjoy. My name is Jamie Verkamp. I'm with Emerge, and we have partnered with SSM, with your leaders, your physicians, with you, your coworkers, to talk about the patient experience. We're talking how do we look for opportunities to improve that? How do we continue to raise the bar to set the standard of the patient experience in our offices, in our organization, at SSM as a whole, and also in the community, right? Because patients in St. Louis have a lot of options when they're looking at healthcare, don't they? A lot of options, a lot of doctors to go to. We know that patients will drive for good healthcare, so we want to make sure at SSM that we are the ones that are setting the standards, leading the pack, that we're the ones they're striving to be like, right? It's always much better to lead the pack than just to follow, isn't it? All right, very good. So is it okay with you all today if we don't talk about customer service? Are you good with that? I know some grumblings whenever you hear customer service training, you're thinking, oh, do I have to go to that, right? I know to smile. I know to be nice, and you all do. You all are smiling. You all are being nice. I know that. We know that. So let's not talk customer service, shall we?
And no cell phones.
Okay? No cell phones. Thank you. We can't talk on our cell phones either. So no cell phones, no customer service, right?
Sorry.
They're good, thank you. And just a good point, Marion, we are, just so you know, we're recording this specific session. I'm not recording you all, I'm recording me more so. We want to make sure we have a record to go up on the internet for those folks that have not had a chance to make these sessions. So you all have a great room for this. So we are recording some of the side conversations. Nobody knows would be really helpful for us. So if we're not talking customer service, what are we talking about today? What we want to talk about is we want to talk about really delivering a personal health experience. How can we deliver that unique experience for every single one of our patients that walks through the door? Because that's our jobs, right? Yes, we're there to certainly deliver a health need, make them well, keep them well, heal them, yes. But we also have to serve our patients emotionally as well, too, don't we? They have needs they come to us for besides simply getting better or healing or staying well. We've got to also look to how do we serve their needs while we're in the service position. So let's talk about that today, shall we? Okay, before we get started, though, I've got a quick training video for you. I have an ulterior motive for being here. Part of what we do is our company sends in secret shoppers into a variety of settings. Hospitals, medical offices, yes. We also do retail, some restaurants. And here's what I know about people that work in healthcare. We have great opinions, don't we? Really good opinions. And we're not afraid to share them, are we? That makes a good shopper for us. So that's what we want. So I want to train and certify you all as secret shoppers for our company and put you to work. Sound good? Okay, I'm going to play a training video that we use with our shoppers. We're going to secret shop the airline industry. Everybody flown before? At least once? All right, sounds good. We're going to play this real quick. We'll talk about it on the backside and see how good your recall is. Sound good? Would you say that she performed her job function? Her job function being to get her customer, Ben Stiller, on the plane during his designated boarding row. Did she do that? She did, right? All right. Was she helpful?
No.
No. Not really, right? Was she interested in the needs of Ben as her customer? Yeah, he had a really rough day, hadn't he? You've all seen that movie? You had no good movie if it ever comes on TBS. Meet the Parents is the name of it. Yeah. He had a rough day, right? A rough weekend. He was needing a little bit of flexibility out of that experience. He wasn't quite getting that. Do you think he felt valued? No. Yeah, probably not. Yeah. If you were sitting in those chairs and you saw this interaction take place, and a friend of yours knew that you'd flown out of the airport, and they asked you for a recommendation on an airline carrier out of that airport, would you recommend that carrier to them? You wouldn't. Why wouldn't you? You're thinking in your head, why wouldn't you recommend?
I just feel like she was very cold and did not care about his needs at all.
Yeah. So we make a judgment call on the entire organization as a whole, don't we? We see that and we think, well, that's her attitude. She had to learn that from somewhere, right? So perhaps that's the culture they foster. That's the training she receives. At minimum, that attitude has been allowed to stick around, right? How's it going to be when we get in the air? How's the service going to be if it's on the ground like that, right? What happens if we have to call and rebook a ticket, miss a flight? We know that can be a challenge even in a good organization, right? What happens when something goes wrong? How's that customer service going to be? You're right, we don't recommend. Now, if she would have sat down with her manager and we got to overhear this conversation and she had to rate her performance, how do you think she'd rate herself on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being excellent, 1 being poor. How do you think she'd rate herself? You think high? Yeah. She probably would, right? 9, 10, and her argument, her reasoning would be, she did what was asked of her, right? She performed her job function. Her job duties were to get her customer on the plane. They have a designated boarding row. She's supposed to do that. She did, right? The challenge is the manager may say, well, we have a disconnect. We don't have a customer that feels valued. We don't have someone that will recommend us. We've done well on the functionality of your job, but the purpose might have slacked a little bit, right? Might have been lax. There's an idea in management called job function versus job purpose. The job function is what are our duties, what are our roles, what are we supposed to do, i.e. getting our customer on the plane in a designated boarding row. The job purpose is the who we serve. Why are we there? What do they need from us beyond simply the functionality within our role? The purpose is where she falls significantly short, isn't it? That value, the why we're here, what needs do our patients, do our customers have from us? And the challenge is in healthcare. You all have extremely high functioning jobs, don't you? A lot of things have to be done in order for a patient's appointment to go well, for them to receive the health services that they need, right? To make sure we get them better. We got to process paperwork, process insurance, process charts, records, you name it, a lot of process and functionality, right? And what we know is that when we have roles who have high functionality, the purpose can be what slips because we get busy, we get focused on the functionality, and we forget the purpose, the why we're here, who we serve, what they need from us, beyond simply the health need or the functionality behind our jobs. That's what we're going to talk about today, is that purpose side of your roles. And how when you get busy, because it does get busy, right? Are you all busy? You are? Oh, I've heard otherwise out here. But you guys aren't very busy, right? And when you have those patients who maybe aren't quite as pleasant as they should be, wait a minute, we're no Fallon, right, Marianne? Everyone's nice out here is what you said, right? Right. Salt of the earth, we're in God's country. They all mind their manners, right? Yeah, maybe not. A few difficult patients every now and then we have to deal with, right? How do we take that in, deal with those difficult patients that come to us, and move on to deal with the other patients that still need that still need to be serviced, right? That still need something from us, even when it gets difficult. Let's talk about that today. Sound good? All right. Oh, that's not good. Okay, so part of how we do that is we utilize a check, an acronym, if you will, called SCORE. So what's SSM's attitude? What are we known for? It's a good one, right? What attitudes fly, what attitudes don't fly? And looking at customer service and that patient experience. Part of how we guide that, how we talk about what flies and doesn't fly, if you will, in terms of attitudes and experiences that we provide our patient, is that acronym called SCORE. And we'll get back on track here. SCORE stands for Smile, Connect, Observe, React, and Engage. It's the entire point of a patient interaction, whether it be on the phone, whether it be in person. And that interaction starts with SCORE, or smile. Every card is different on the back. If you wouldn't mind flipping your card over to reveal the words on the R and the SCORE. Let's go ahead and read C, which stands for Connect. Did someone get a Connect card? Did we get one out? Would you mind sharing this, please? Thank you.
Be curious. Who are they? How are they? Why are they here? People's favorite topic to talk about is themselves.
People's favorite topic to talk about is themselves. Well, that's the truth, isn't it? Anyone have that friend that you're on the phone and it's 20 minutes into the conversation and you say, hey, I'm alive, breathe in, thanks for asking, right? Glad to hear about your day. No, people love to talk about themselves. And in a service setting, when you're providing a service, your goal is to, as quick as possible, reroute that conversation to get them talking. Because by them talking, they tell you a lot, don't they? Not even so much in their voice, but also in the way they say things, right? The tone that they use, the language that they choose when they say it. By them talking, not only can we triage them health-wise, yes, we need to know their chief complaint, why are they here, how are they feeling, how do we need to provide our health needs, what does that look like, but emotionally as well too. Isn't it true you have to triage those patients emotionally as well? What do they need from me beyond simply providing a health service? What does that look like? You know those remedial questions, you know, the how are yous, the how's the afternoon going, how's the morning going, plans for the weekend. Sometimes we think those are just conversation fillers, right? Pleasantries that we do to make connections. But if you take a minute and you really listen to the way a patient answers that, whether it be the tone of their voice, or the words they use, how they say it, it can tell us a lot with how they want to be treated, doesn't it? Or the mood they're in. If I were to ask you how you were doing, and you said to me, kind of looked at me and said, I'm fine, I could infer a couple things from you. First of all, can't I? We'll make a few assumptions here. I'll go into it with you. I'm sure that she would, I won't go there. No, I won't. So he says, I'm fine. I know a couple things right off the bat, don't I? Right off the bat, I know, well, generally positive, right? I didn't ask him how he was doing. He said, oh, it's an awful day. It's okay, so he's positive. That's a positive response. But he also said a pretty quick, succinct response, didn't he? I'm fine. That lends me to believe if I'm providing him a service, great service to him at this moment, but probably for me to get down to business, be efficient, get him in, get him out, get him what he needed, and back out again, right? Get him on to the day. I got places to go, people to see. Would she hurry up, right? These gals want me to talk till 2:30, so I hope we got to disconnect in the room, so sorry. Hope you're not hoping we wrap up early. Be to the point, right? Now, if I would have asked him how he was, and he says, oh, Jamie, I'm doing great. You know, I had a wonderful breakfast this morning. I've got exciting plans for the evening, and this weekend we're going to go do this, and I'm looking forward to that. I know something completely different about him, don't I? I know he's probably looking for more of a social interaction from me. Some of your patients do come here truly for a social interaction, don't they? It's the social engagement of the month, right? They're seeing their neighbors in the waiting room. They know you all. We've got vacation pictures and everything else, right? But I know in that setting, I've got to be more personal with him. I've got to continue, keep him talking, ask him more questions, be interested in him, right? If I were to be direct and focus on efficiency with him and getting him out the door as quickly as possible, and he was more of a social butterfly and wanting to really connect with me, he'd probably walk out the door thinking, wow, Jamie's pretty abrupt, a little rude, right? We had a disconnect in the service that we needed to provide him. Same thing if he wants me to be concise and I'm sitting here continuing to go, well, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, what are you going to do? Oh, what are you going to do for Christmas? He's going, shut up, right? She is not getting it that I do not want to talk, right? Everyone comes to us with a different perception of what is great service to them. You know, perceptions are interesting. We all come in with our own perceptions, don't we? We come into this room, we come to work with our own set of perceptions. Your patients come through the door with their own set of perceptions. We all have to manage those, don't we? You know, perceptions are not right. They're not wrong. We all own our own perceptions. They're ours. We've got to deal with them. You know, that brings up an interesting point. Lakeisha, I got to tell you something. Since you mentioned earlier about your physician, you kind of opened up a conversation. So I got to share this with you. It's been a long week, right? We're on week 5 of training. I was really tired yesterday. I just wanted to treat myself to a really nice dinner. You ever just want someone to serve you and just relax and just eat good food in a nice, quiet atmosphere, right? I wanted a fine dining experience last night. And I found this amazing restaurant. It's actually not far from here. I'm going to tell you about it, okay? I bet you're going to love it. Okay? I mean, it's amazing. Food was incredible. Service was impeccable. Amazing experience. After this, I'll let you know what it was, okay? Now, Lakeisha's going to go this weekend. You should take your family, your friends. You all would love it. You'll be impressed. She's going to go, okay? She's going to come back on Monday morning. She's going to tell you all, wow, Jamie's idea of fine dining? Very low standards, okay? Imo's is not a fine dining experience to me, right? I was expecting a little bit more than Imo's. Good pizza, right? Same experience, but my perception of fine dining and service is very different than her perception of fine dining and experience, right? You know that golden rule, treat others the way you want to be treated? Good rule to live by, right? If more people would do that, we'd all be in a better place, wouldn't we? I would challenge you in this service setting to think about the platinum rule. Treat others the way they want to be treated. Because the way I want to be treated when I go out to dinner and the way Lakeisha wants to be treated when she goes out to dinner are two very different things, right? If Lakeisha's treated the way I was at Imo's when she's expecting a fine dining experience, she's going to be severely disappointed, right? her standards are much higher than mine. But think about that when you're working with those patients. You all have to be much like chameleons, don't you? 1 minute, you have Mr. Jones who wants you to direct to the point, his perception of good service, maybe efficiency. The next minute you have Mrs. Smith who comes up and she wants to have a relationship and she wants to talk, wants to connect with you. You've got to do that as well too. It changes with every single patient. We've got to stay fresh on our toes to deliver that.